Ever left a conversation feeling uneasy, as if the pieces didn't quite fit together? Maybe the person spoke eloquently, yet your gut sensed a mismatch. Or you've encountered someone whose manipulation of truth was so seamless, it nearly swayed your own perception. If this resonates, you're certainly not alone. Interacting with liars can be deeply taxing, bewildering, and emotionally intense. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while we cannot direct the actions of others, our responses are entirely within our control. By the conclusion of this video, you will learn 5 robust techniques to address deceit with resilience and moral fortitude. Whether it involves recognizing the faint traces of falsehood, maintaining your composure, or establishing boundaries to conserve your energy, you will be equipped to manage even the most complex dialogues. So, inhale deeply, ease your mind, and explore these 5 strategies to engage effectively with deceptive individuals. Before we dive in, ensure you subscribe to our channel and activate the notifications by clicking the bell icon. Ready to uncover the truth? Let's get started. Recognize the subtle cues of dishonesty. Conversations are a symphony of words, but a discordant tone suggests deceit. Identifying signs of deception is less about pinpointing a blatant lie and more about recognizing when a dialogue lacks sincerity. This awareness marks the first step towards safeguarding your serenity. Liars often betray themselves not with grand gestures, but through nearly imperceptible cues. Discrepancies in their words, tone, or narrative coherence, or nervous body language, like avoiding eye contact or excessive fidgeting, can indicate discomfort from dishonesty. Yet, these signs are not infallible. Some individuals are naturally anxious, while others have perfected their deceptive veneer. Your aim should be to observe, not accuse. Dishonesty often manifests in how someone speaks rather than precisely what they say. Liars might use vague phrasing or unnecessary details to muddy the truth, dodge direct answers, or echo your questions to stall for time. A common maneuver is to shift the focus, making you feel scrutinized simply for asking. This method fosters confusion and diverts attention from their falsehoods. Consider their narrative a fragile construct. While initially plausible, it crumbles under closer scrutiny. For instance, if they claim to have been delayed by traffic, inquire specifically where. Their answers may expose hesitancy or inconsistencies. Lies often lack the substance of genuine experiences, so logical gaps typically emerge upon detailed examination. Even skilled deceivers struggle to fully control their physical reactions. The human body has its own language. Excessive blinking, shifty eyes, or nervous movements can signal deceit, though context is crucial. Some individuals exhibit these behaviors when merely anxious, regardless of truthfulness. Micro-expressions, brief, involuntary facial expressions that expose genuine emotions, are another indicator. An insincere smile, a flash of annoyance, or a subtle grimace can reveal truths that words attempt to hide. A person might assert calmness, yet their tense posture or clenched fists suggest otherwise. Learning to detect lies is not about fostering paranoia or mistrust, but about enhancing your perceptual acuity. Stoicism encourages us to confront the world with clear-eyed discernment, not suspicion. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Let this wisdom guide you, not to condemn, but to preserve your integrity in deceitful exchanges. By remaining observant without leaping to conclusions, you empower yourself to stay composed and in command. Allow their words and actions to inform your understanding. Remember, the truth often surfaces over time. Patience is essential, as is maintaining your equilibrium. Managing your emotions is vital when dealing with liars, akin to being in the eye of a storm. Their words may warp reality, stir your emotions, and cloud your judgment. But here's the key. You don't have to plunge into the tumult. Facing lies, our initial reaction might be emotional. Anger, frustration, or disbelief may surge. Such responses are natural, but potentially perilous. When emotions drive our actions, we forfeit the clarity needed to navigate the situation wisely. Stoicism offers an invaluable lesson in such moments. You might not control the liar's conduct, but your response is yours to shape. This is where your true strength resides, not in silencing the liar, but in quelling your inner turmoil. A serene mind yields sharper insights. As you maintain your calm, you'll be able to see through the haze of deception. Visualize your emotions as a blaze. The liar's words are merely sparks. Your reaction provides the fuel. Withdraw the fuel, and the fire dies. To remain tranquil, anchor yourself in the present. Deep, measured breathing is a simple yet profound tool. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold for a count of 3, and exhale gently through your mouth. Repeat until you feel the tension dissipate. This not only soothes your nervous system but also offers a moment to reflect before you respond. Pausing before speaking is an underappreciated strategy. Liars thrive on emotional reactions. They anticipate anger, confrontation, or confusion. When you instead pause, you disrupt their expected pattern. This deliberate calm is not a sign of weakness, but a quiet manifestation of strength. When faced with dishonesty, consider adopting the stance of a detached observer. Rather than taking their words personally, view them as mere information. What patterns emerge? Are they seeking to manipulate your feelings, shift blame, or sow doubt? By emotionally stepping back, you gain the perspective needed to assess the situation more objectively. Envision your mind as a serene lake. When you react emotionally, it's akin to tossing a stone into the water. The surface distorts with ripples. But maintaining your composure keeps the lake placid, mirroring reality accurately. This clarity enables you to spot discrepancies and retain control. Ancient Stoics championed inner tranquility, irrespective of external turmoil. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Employ this principle as a shield against dishonesty. One effective technique is reframing your viewpoint. Rather than perceiving a liar's actions as personal affronts, regard them as reflections of their character, not yours. Their deceit highlights their flaws. This change in perspective can help you detach emotionally, facilitating a composed response. Another potent tool is journaling. After a challenging conversation, jot down your thoughts and feelings. What triggered your emotional response? How did you react? What might you do differently next time? Journaling aids in processing your experiences and builds emotional resilience for future encounters. Remaining composed not only safeguards your peace, but also catches the liar off guard. They rely on emotional reactions to dominate, but your calmness strips them of that leverage. It's akin to standing firm within a hurricane's eye. While chaos swirls around you, you stay unshaken. When you refuse to echo their turmoil, the liar is compelled to face their own actions. They may intensify their fabrications, but their words lose impact without your emotional engagement to anchor them. In this sense, calmness becomes a subtle form of resistance. Each interaction with a liar presents a choice: to preserve your emotional energy or allow it to be depleted. Staying serene isn't merely about triumphing in a dialogue, it's about protecting your well-being. The next time you confront a liar, remember this. Your tranquility is your shield. Your tranquility is your shield. Your breath is your barrier, and your composed demeanor is your victory. Let the liar's words dissipate, ineffective against your tranquil mind. Through composed observation, you reclaim not just control of the conversation, but of yourself as well. Employ strategic questioning to reveal cracks in their narrative. Liars often hope you'll accept their assertions at face value, but thoughtful queries can dismantle their facade. When applied wisely, questions not only expose falsehoods, but also clarify your understanding, allowing you to navigate the situation confidently. This isn't about aggressive interrogation or catching someone in a flagrant lie. It's about steering the conversation toward truth, or at minimum, better understanding. Questions serve as a lantern in a dark room, shedding light on obscured areas. When faced with lies, their narrative often proves fragile, a patchwork of half-truths and constructed details. By posing the right questions, you gently probe their weak points. Unlike accusations which prompt defensiveness, questions invite the liar to disclose more about their reasoning and motives. Let's delve deeper. Liars often depend on vague or overly rehearsed details. For instance, someone may claim they were late due to traffic. A superficial response might suffice, but a non-confrontational question like, "Where was the traffic?" or "How long were you delayed?" can expose inconsistencies in their account. The elegance of this method lies in its non-accusatory nature. It simply encourages further elaboration, and this is where falsehoods typically unravel. Questions also redirect the focus away from you. Liars often manipulate the discourse, steering it toward your reactions or doubts. By asking questions, you reclaim control, forcing them to sustain their fabrications. Choosing the appropriate questions is essential. Open-ended questions, which require more than a simple yes or no, are particularly effective. These prompt the liar to elaborate on their story, increasing the likelihood of discrepancies. For example, rather than asking, "Were you at the meeting yesterday?" which allows for a straightforward yes or no, you might inquire, "What was discussed at the meeting yesterday?" Instead of, "Did you complete the project?" Ask, "How did you tackle the project?" Notice the difference? The first options provide an easy out, while the latter necessitate detailed elaboration, a challenge to convincingly fabricate. Follow-up questions are another potent tool. When a liar perceives your attentiveness, they might attempt to reinforce their narrative. Calmly asking for clarification, like, "Can you explain that again?" or "What did you mean by that?" compels them to modify their lie, heightening the chance of contradictions. The manner in which you pose questions is as crucial as their content. A calm, neutral tone keeps the dialogue open and prevents the other person from becoming defensive. Even when you suspect dishonesty, eschew sarcasm, hostility, or condescension. These responses only provoke the liar to entrench further. Think of it as gently tapping on glass to test for weaknesses. A forceful strike shatters it, but a light touch reveals its frailties. Approach your inquiries with curiosity rather than confrontation. This mindset helps you remain composed and ensures the conversation remains productive. Silence is an underutilized tactic in interactions with liars. After posing a question, resist the urge to fill the silence. Let it linger. This silence is often more potent than any words. Caught off guard by a question, a liar may rush their response, but silence compels them to sit with their discomfort. This technique grants you deeper insights into their behavior. Do they hesitate, falter, or grow overly defensive? These reactions can be as revealing as their words. Silence also conveys confidence, demonstrating your control over the conversation without resorting to confrontation. Visualize a liar's story as a house of cards. At first glance, it may appear robust, but it's precariously balanced. Your inquiries act as gentle prods, testing the structure's stability. A single well-placed question can collapse the entire edifice, unveiling the truth beneath. For example, if someone claims they were too occupied to complete a task, a follow-up like, "What was consuming most of your time?" or "Could you walk me through your day?" compels them to justify their actions. If their narrative shifts or grows overly complex, the house of cards begins to topple. Stoicism values clarity and rational thought, positing that truth is best unearthed through deliberate observation. Marcus Aurelius counseled, "If someone can demonstrate that what I think or do is incorrect, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth." This philosophy is applicable here. Pose questions not to embarrass or chastise, but to seek clarity for yourself. When you ask the right questions, you empower yourself to perceive the situation as it truly is. This clarity enables you to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively, preserving your integrity. The next time you find yourself doubting someone's honesty, pause and consider, what do I really want to know? How can I phrase this to foster truth rather than conflict? This deliberate approach transforms your queries into instruments of understanding, allowing you to navigate deceit with wisdom and poise. Through calm, strategic questioning, you strip away the influence of lies, revealing the truth, or at least a clearer path forward. Establish boundaries. Deceit, like a persistent weed, can overrun your mental and emotional landscape if left unchecked. Setting boundaries is about safeguarding your space, not to penalize the liar, but to prioritize your peace and integrity. When you set clear limits, you're not merely regulating the behavior of others, you're affirming your self-worth. Boundaries are vital because liars often exploit ambiguities. They may leverage your trust, kindness, or reluctance to confront to advance their narrative further. If you permit their behavior to persist unchecked, it can lead to exhaustion, confusion, and self-doubt. Remember, boundaries aren't designed to control the liar's actions. They define what you will and won't accept in your life. A lack of boundaries can make you feel trapped, as if you're endlessly navigating a labyrinth of someone else's fabrications. This is particularly true when dealing with chronic deceivers, individuals who lie not sporadically, but habitually. Their falsehoods can sap your emotional energy, leaving you drained. Establishing boundaries sends a definitive message. You value honesty and refuse to waste energy on deceit. It's not about issuing ultimatums or fostering conflict, but about creating an environment where trust and respect are paramount. The initial step in setting boundaries is self-awareness. Consider how much access you wish to grant this person to your emotions, time, or trust. If their falsehoods consistently harm you or complicate your life, it may be time to distance yourself. Be explicit and consistent. Boundaries lose their efficacy if they're ambiguous or sporadically enforced. For instance, if someone habitually lies to you, you might state, "I require honesty in our interactions. If I feel that's lacking, I will step back from this relationship." This establishes a clear expectation and calmly delineates the consequences. Limit your vulnerability. Liars often manipulate sensitive information to their advantage. While authenticity in relationships is essential, You're not obligated to expose every facet of your inner world. Guard your personal matters and feelings until trust is established. Protect your time and energy. If someone's dishonesty proves disruptive or draining, it's acceptable to limit interactions with them. For example, you may opt to keep conversations brief or steer clear of certain topics. Enforcing a boundary is one aspect, maintaining it is another. Some individuals, especially habitual liars, may test your boundaries to gauge your seriousness. Consistency is key here. If you've declared that dishonesty will trigger specific consequences, adhere to that when boundaries are breached. This doesn't necessitate confrontation or self-defense. A simple, composed response such as, "I'm not comfortable continuing this discussion at the moment," suffices. The goal is to remain firm without escalating the situation. Boundaries also entail respecting your own limits. If a liar's actions continue to affect you despite your efforts, reconsidering the relationship might be necessary. Sometimes the most healthful boundary involves walking away. Visualize boundaries as protective walls, not to isolate you from the world, but to shield what's most important. Marcus Aurelius once noted, "You have control over your mind, not external events." Keep this in mind, and you will discover strength. In a similar vein, boundaries remind you that while you can't dictate a liar's actions, you can dictate their impact on your life. By establishing definitive boundaries, you reclaim that power. You stop letting lies influence your emotions or decisions and start constructing a life anchored in clarity and respect. Think of your life as a garden. Without a fence, weeds and pests can freely invade, harming what you've nurtured. Boundaries function like that fence, repelling what's detrimental while allowing in light, air, and nurturing connections. The beauty of boundaries lies in your ability to decide their placement. Maybe it involves limiting interactions with a deceitful coworker, or perhaps redefining the terms of a friendship marred by lies. Wherever you draw the line, recognize that it's simply an act of self-care. Take a moment to evaluate your current relationships. Are there individuals whose dishonesty consistently undermines your peace? What boundaries might you set to safeguard your well-being? Boundaries aren't about severing ties completely. They're about fostering healthier dynamics. By clarifying what you will and won't tolerate, you send a potent message. Your peace and integrity are priorities, and you're prepared to uphold them. Act with integrity. When faced with dishonesty, your most powerful asset is your integrity. It might be tempting to mirror a liar's tactics, to counter deceit with manipulation, or to confront them in a manner that diminishes your principles. But steadfastly adhering to your values not only preserves your tranquility, but also exemplifies strength. Acting with integrity disarms liars more effectively than any confrontation could. Liars thrive amid confusion. They depend on emotional upheaval and the distortion of truth to assert control. By opting to respond with honesty, calmness, and clarity, you reject their game. Integrity serves as your moral compass, ensuring that even amidst falsehoods, your actions remain aligned with your values. Addressing lies with truth isn't solely a moral choice. It's about sustaining clarity in situations intended to obfuscate. Lies generate a cascade of confusion, blurring the line between reality and deceit. By anchoring yourself in truth, you establish a baseline of stability that slices through the confusion. Integrity, from a Stoic perspective, involves maintaining control over your conduct, regardless of others' actions. When you adhere to your values, you ascend above deceit rather than succumbing to it. Integrity also implicitly sets boundaries. It signals to the liar that while they may manipulate the truth, you refuse to bend. You might wonder how to act with integrity in such contexts. As previously mentioned, your initial response should be emotional restraint. Liars often anticipate confrontation or anger, but a calm reply shifts control to your hands. For example, if confronted with a lie, refrain from retorting sharply. Instead, propose something like, "That's not consistent with what I've heard. Could you clarify?" This tactic maintains focus on facts rather than emotions, granting you the upper hand. Integrity doesn't imply ignoring falsehoods. If a lie directly affects you, it's appropriate to address it, but do so in a manner that reflects your character. Rather than labeling someone a liar, concentrate on the inconsistency. "I noticed a discrepancy in what you mentioned earlier. Could you elaborate?" This approach places the onus on them to justify their statement while keeping the discussion constructive. It underscores your commitment to honesty without resorting to personal attacks. If necessary, assert your viewpoint. Liars may attempt to warp reality, but your dedication to the truth can alter the discourse. Expressing your truth isn't about persuading the liar. It's about reaffirming your grasp of the situation. It anchors you in reality, irrespective of their efforts to distort it. Responding with integrity often neutralizes liars because it's unforeseen. They expect defensiveness, anger, or counter-deceit. When you remain composed and speak truthfully, you deny them the turmoil they crave. It's akin to illuminating a darkened room. Their lies suddenly find no shadows to hide within. Moreover, integrity safeguards your peace. By concentrating on your values, you avoid being drawn into a cycle of frustration or retaliation. This isn't about winning the conversation, it's about departing with the knowledge that you remain true to yourself. Visualize integrity as a mirror. When you counter dishonesty with truth, you hold up that mirror, reflecting everything accurately. For the liar, this reflection can be jarring. They confront their actions, perhaps for the first time. But for you, the mirror offers clarity, ensuring that no matter how distorted their words, you stay firmly grounded in reality. Truth may not always alter the liar, but it transforms you. It fortifies your resolve to remain steadfast in the face of deceit, proving that you don't need to stoop to their level to protect yourself. Consider a recent instance where you encountered dishonesty. How did you react? Did your response align with your values, or were you swept into the emotional upheaval of the moment? Reflecting on these experiences aids in identifying opportunities to infuse more integrity into your future interactions. Responding with integrity demands courage and self-discipline. It's not always straightforward to remain calm or resist the urge to retaliate. Yet, each time you choose integrity, you strengthen your character, safeguard your peace, and serve as a role model for others. Even amid dishonesty, integrity reminds you of this fundamental truth. Your response is always within your control. Allow liars to expose themselves through their actions while you remain serene, grounded, and true to your essence. Thank you for watching our video on 5 ways to handle conversations with liars. Stoic wisdom in action. We hope these strategies inspire you to face dishonesty with clarity, serenity, and fortitude. Remember, staying grounded in truth is not merely a skill, it's a choice you make daily. If this video has been enlightening, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. Tap the notification bell so you don't miss more insights on Stoic wisdom and personal growth. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.